Yeah, I think we are
Thank
live. Yeah.
you. A very good evening to everyone who is with us tonight. I welcome you all to this session, which is very special to us as this is the first session of Online Journal Club hosted by Indian Academy for Clinical and Dental Genetics. And this is the first step in the endeavor of creating an online community wherein people can come together and can contribute towards something positive in the field of science and research. And with this aim, the founder and director of this academy, this is Dr. Gargi Roy Goswami ma'am, she has initiated this idea. So as all of us are very well aware that this journal club, this is a very common practice which is done in the postgraduate curriculum. It is a very common practice in the curriculum. And the idea is like all of us know research is something, if many people look at the same idea, so multiple new ideas they generate out of it, and this is the main aim behind organizing all these events. So what happens in this, as the people who have been following the post, you might be aware, and for those who are unaware, I'll once again just recapitulate everything. So what we do, we invite entries from various people who are interested, so anyone can send us entries, and looking at the versatility, the usefulness of the topic, how useful it will be to the varied people from various backgrounds, we select one article. So this way, this is the first issue, and we got multiple entries, and out of which we selected one article for discussion in today's journal club. So very shortly we'll welcome the person who has proposed today's paper. So before going further, I would request Dr. Gargi ma'am to please brief us what was her idea behind initiating all this.
Okay, so am I audible, Udita? Yeah. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining in once again, and your enthusiasm is awesome, I must say that. And thank you, Udita, for this nice introduction to this endeavor today that we will be doing. And I think we will continue this journey step by step with more participation. And first of all, I would like to thank everybody who have took out your time from your busy schedule and given importance to this endeavor, and you have sent papers, you have searched, you have sent papers to us, so that we had the option to select rather than we coming up with something. So I think that's pretty very much inspiring. And as today I think we discussed why we are doing this particular online journal club. But then, as Udita mentioned, that yes, rightly mentioned, that some of you are new to this group, so you might have missed our previous discussions. So basically, the basic idea is very simple. See, I don't know much things. Whatever I have studied in my life, I always try to make it simple. So I understand one thing, that science can only grow through discussions, because more we discuss, more discussion, it means exchange of ideas. So more we discuss, more it develops. So that's the one liner, and that is why I thought that particularly at this point of time, in the pandemic situation, as well as later on also, any forum where people can come in and interact, and it is not only about just a monologue, like some, like like me or Udita or some other people coming and just telling their own things. But I think better way is to take up your ideas, and then let's do a brainstorming. So that was the basic idea behind bringing an online journal club, because I think that is very pretty much necessary. And here the intention is to simplify rather than simplify complex things, and giving the concepts. So all these programs, whatever we do, is to deliver concepts rather than giving you just the information, because for information I think that there is enough resources. So I think, Udita, that was something which I can just add on in a very few words regarding the endeavor or the vision with this online journal club. And yes, we actually did a poll in the group. We keep doing polls. So it's about your preference, it is not our preference, it is about what you want from this, because my vision with this group is to build it as a community. So when it comes to community, we are social animals and we need to help each other. And I think that's the basic principle of life. So whether we are doing science or we are doing dentistry, we are doing medicine, whatever. So we just have to share and help each other, and particularly at this point of time, we just have to stand by each other's side by whatever means we can. So science is the best way to do that, and Journal Club is, I think, another very interesting forum where you actually develop science, you discuss science, and you find out problems, you find out the areas where the problem solving can be done. So Dita, that was all about the mission of this Journal Club. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for your introductory remarks, and very well mentioned, and especially in these pandemic times when we are physically apart. But let us all come together and not let this distance be a roadblock in our journey towards successful research. So once again, I would like to thank everyone who has contributed, even a single response, who have shown their likings, what you will prefer in the upcoming sessions, the type of articles you have submitted. So big thank you to all of you. And for today's session, we have Dr. Rujita Patil with us. So she is a specialist in the field of periodontology, and I'm very proud to say that she is a proud student of one of the courses, that is oral cancer genetics, running under the Indian Academy for Clinical and Dental Genetics. She's been very enthusiastic student there as well. And if I'm not wrong, she was among the first few people who have sent us the articles. And the article which she has sent for today is focused upon the oral neutrophils and their role as oral health biomarkers. So I welcome Dr. Rujita Patil to this session.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad that my article could contribute to the first online JC Gargi ma'am and Udita ma'am are organizing, and I'm happy that I'm looking forward that everybody has a good discussion and something good comes out of this. And really very excited to be a part of Indian Academy of Clinical and Dental Genetics.
Thank you, Ruchita. The pleasure is all ours. So, Ruchita, to begin with, can I know what made you choose this particular article for discussion today?
Yeah, ma'am. Actually, during the course of post graduation, I've learned many things about our innate immune responses, the cells which are responsible for the maintenance of both health and also the severity of the disease. So, neutrophil being one amongst the first liner innate immune response, so it has got a immense role to play. And as we have seen that in the medical field, they usually use CBC count or WBC count, the neutrophils, especially to assess and analyze what is the amount of the inflammation and infection going on throughout the body. So that has considered to be as a marker or a prominent method to assess what is there in the systemic condition. So here I saw this article. I found it interesting that we can even assess the oral infection and inflammatory load by considering the oral polymorphonuclear leukocytes. And there are some differences, there are some drawbacks as well, and there are some positive points as well in doing so. And what if there is something that we can get about some different assay or some different method to analyze, and we can use it for diagnosing the oral conditions, their severity, and so on. So I found it so interesting. So I thought that maybe a basic discussion from a cell neutrophil, that would be a great beginning.
Yeah, Dr. Rujuta, that is very nicely mentioned. The way you told that this is already prevalent. We have certain blood tests by which we can at least have a clue what inflammation is going on. Similarly, we can have something in the field of dentistry as well. And though you are a specialist, you can correct me further. As far as I know, in the field of periodontics, we still depend on certain clinical methods, like we do certain probing, and depending on that probing, we have an idea how much the tooth is involved, what can can be the prognosis of the tooth. But again, all these have certain inter and intra examiner some variabilities, so they are not that dependent. So if we have something like this, so this will be very fruitful, and this is a very nice contribution from your side. So I would like to request the expert here herself, Dr. Gargi ma'am. So what can be done, ma'am? You always speak about genetics. So like Ruchita also mentioned, we have something coming from the blood. So why not from something from the oral biofluid, which is saliva, or as she said, the oral neutrophil. So how it can contribute, ma'am? Can you please explain?
Yeah, yeah, sure. Actually, I think before that, I would like. I see many people sitting quietly in the live. Thank you for sitting quietly, but please don't be quiet. Give some highs, hellos, loves, claps, whatever you can, because this is virtual, and we have started a journey as virtual, and this has become virtual reality. So as I mentioned in the beginning, in the inauguration session, also that these programs will bring us closer to each other. So if you don't interact, then we will not become close. So you have to give some highs, hellos, loves, likes. Yeah, thank you, Dr. Durga. That's fantastic. Okay, so coming back to today's discussion, yes, I think Dr. Rujita and Dr. Udita, as you said, that the paper what Dr. Rujita gave us is very nice. So what I think, instead of just telling you in a more generic way, I will just give a little idea what exactly this paper says about in a very, very simple form. It's specific. I mean, it's a very interesting paper which I just read, and I saw that what they're trying to say is that they are trying to say that the oral inflammatory neutrophils, or the oral neutrophils, or the PMNs, can be a biomarker of choice to identify to identify periodontitis. I mean to say, maybe because they what they showed is, through this paper they have spoke about many studies which have been done, and very nicely, I mean, though there are many gaps which I must say, but then just overall, if we consider, they have shown that many studies have already been done, and particularly when it comes to saliva, yes, mostly anything related to immunity, you will find in saliva loads of that. So as a sample, as a biomarker, it will not be actually a problem to collect it and analyze it, and already it is not a new thing. And what they showed, through the several studies, that they have used stimulated saliva, unstimulated saliva, they have used several oral rinses at several steps. Like maybe they have continuously collected after every 30 seconds. They have collected some oral rinses, and they have analyzed that how the quantity of the neutrophils are decreasing, or what exactly is happening. Basically, in one line in this paper, what they say, I will always come down to one liner. That is something which I prefer, because I think the paper is there, and if you want also to read it, we have already posted it. We can give it to you again. But the one liner is that this oral neutrophils can be used as a biomarker, not for identifying, or maybe you can also use it to understand the severity of the periodontal disease, periodontal damage. The only reason in this is because that there is a positive correlation between the amount or quantity of the neutrophils and the severity of the disease. So this is not new that they are speaking. This has been shown by many studies. That is what they try to put up. And the best part which I found is the future prospects that they're trying to show is a direction which, again, very much it was in tune with my my thought process, that can some diagnostic test or some side test can be developed, because this is a very simple thing that can be done. Yes, there will be certain problems when we try to standardize any molecule from any biological fluid. And I will tell you in short the mechanism also. It's pretty simple. Whatever is happening inside the blood, whenever there is an infection, as you know, this immune molecules are nothing but they are the soldiers who are there inside our body. So any any infectious disease, that means something which is getting inside our body from the outside, be it in any form. So when it comes to periodontal disease, particularly pertaining to this disease, again, that is also an inflammatory disease. It's an infection. It's pretty much an bacterial infection, right? So because all the specialists are sitting here, I cannot speak too much of organisms and all those things. So anyway, so the thing is that what happens basically, the basic mechanism is simple. In the blood, whatever it is there, those molecules slowly pass on through different mechanisms, pretty simple cellular mechanisms of transport they follow, and they come into the GCF and subsequently in the saliva. So in that way, getting the sample or the biomarker from the saliva, I mean, it is abundant. It is not something which you have to really hunt for or something. So in this case, it is abundant, so you can collect it. Second, what the mechanism is, it is called as phagocytosis. Nothing much. Those soldiers come and beat up the foreigners. They eat it up fully, as well as what they do, they have certain specialized specialized forces again, as reserve forces in the form of certain enzymes, like for example, matrix metalloproteinases and those kind of, I mean, those can actually further degrade, I mean, if there is more infection or need any severe, suddenly some acute phase is happening, then all those things comes. Now, as you know, that for everything there is a cost. So what happens here is, that's very good, because neutrophils are there, they're giving us first line of defense. That's pretty impressive. But the cost is that what happens because of this, they store these enzymes in kind of small packets inside them. Okay, so what happens, these again, they degrade the normal tissue also, so that's the very basic mechanism which is happening inside the body. Now, in this paper, what they tried to show is that they tried to find out, I mean, what they did, they came up with this point that can this cost that is being paid be a diagnostic tool. I think that's the point which fascinated me very much while I was just going through the paper, because it is very much possible. So I think that much I can say, to summarize as a whole. So I think you guys can take it forward in a better way. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am, you have very well explained the mechanism of what is happening inside. And this paper also, ma'am, which Dr. Rujita has proposed, this is a very recent paper. I think it has been published in April 2010 only, and this is from the Canadian University. So, ma'am, as you also agree with me, this is a very nice paper, because the title itself, it intrigues the mind of the reader to know further, because the way they have written the heading, it provokes us to read further ahead. But even I also agree, if it would have been a systematic review, then this would have been much better. This looks more likely people who have written this article, authors, they have written it out of their own experience. They have just clubbed studies from here and there, and if someone takes it up further and does a more systematic approach, follows a more systematic approach, taking more concrete articles, then this will be a more fruitful study. But based on this research of today, we have two very important future aspects coming out of it. Like ma'am herself said, that various new studies in which we can assess the inflammation arising inside the oral cavity, these can be used as non-invasive chairside mechanisms. And one thing is, in the title, they have mentioned that this is more related to the oral health, but throughout the article, they have restricted themselves only to the periodontal health. But maybe because it is coming from the periodontal specialist, that is why they have restricted to this field. But we as audience who are listening to this, and after listening the comments, we can now also address our research towards various other inflammations. This can be another future aspect coming out of it, because wherever there is inflammation, neutrophils are bound to increase. And in the paper I was reading, that there is something called as absolute neutrophil count. So we can stress more onto that, and we can come up with more standardized values by which, like in any inflammation, we say that if the WBC count is this, we have something like this. So what the need of R is, through programs like this, we promote more participation from people, and just do not sit quiet after this JC is over. Go back and plan more studies out of it, so that we have more studies that are based on Indian population first, and more are coming from saliva itself, because then it explains the beauty of saliva as a unique diagnostic fluid. Because all of us now are very well aware by the repeated efforts of Dr. Gargi ma'am how nice it is to collect it from the saliva as compared to another body fluid, which will be more invasive, painful. But with saliva, we don't encounter any such problems. So I got, yeah, ma'am, you were saying something?
No,
Okay.
continue.
Yeah, ma'am.
No
So I
problem.
was just mentioning this. So this is a nice article, and based on this research, we can plan multiple research out of it. First would be to plan a systematic review, then to address on the various other oral inflammatory conditions, and to deep down further in the cases of periodontitis itself. Because till date we have only clinical methods, which are again they vary from person to person, and even if a single
Correct.
person is doing it the another day, the results they vary, and they are invasive also. But if we someday if we imagine that they just by taking saliva of the person and we have a report that these are your neutrophil counts, so it will be more easier. Patient counseling will also improve, and we can have a better picture of the diagnosis and prognosis on the first visit of the patient itself. So it will aid us in patient compliance also.
Yeah, I totally agree with whatever you said, Udita. There are, as I mentioned, that see this paper where I will just debate with you little bit. I whatever you said about the future prospect or the structure of the paper, the way they have written, the restrictions they have put, that's pretty correct. But the direction that they have showed is very promising, and I think there lies the catch of this particular study. And I would just like to understand if Rujuta wants to add anything to this. Like I think Rujita gave a very good critical evaluation already. So if you have any points to add on, and then I will just add few more things, not regarding the study but regarding this program. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to add few things. As Udita ma'am mentioned that there are just only certain clinical parameters which assess the periodontal destruction. But there are certain drawbacks to this. That if we see a patient comes and we see that there are deep pockets, and we assess that suddenly, okay, the patient is already in a severe state, but we don't know whether it is in an active state or it is in a quiescent state. So we cannot understand that as well. So to understand that, if we try to assess the neutrophil activity in that, then we'll get to know whether it is an ongoing disease or it is in a healing stage or it is a resting phase. And also as in periodontics we have seen that there is a interrelationship between the diabetes and other systemic diseases like cardiovascular diseases, which have been already done, and they have tried to correlate with cardiovascular. With diabetes there is something that is established. So more authenticity can be given by assessing how the neutrophils actually act, and with this neutrophil breakdown there is increase in the cytokines, the reactive oxygen species, all this which can enter the blood stream and in turn have an effect on our systemic health as well. So all such things we can assess, and we can properly say that there is some link between our oral inflammatory load which has effect on the systemic health as well. And ma'am, I would like to add one study which was done. They had considered the cardiopulmonary bypass people, which was a critical care people, where they tried to assess usually they say that because during that cardiopulmonary bypass, when they do, the neutrophils get very much activated and they start residing in the tissues and cause edema. So there is no other non-invasive method, as ma'am already Udita ma'am mentioned that this is a non-invasive method. So there is no non-invasive method to assess how the neutrophils are reacting. So which has created a severe damage and led to morbidity of the patients. So they have done assessment on the oral neutrophils, and they have tried to assess all these, and they came to know that because of this procedure, the neutrophils get overactivated and release certain interleukins, certain cytokines, which has in turn has an effect on the systemic health as well. So it can be used as a multidisciplinary approach. Even any field people can actually go ahead with it and use oral neutrophils as a diagnostic aid. Hope something comes in future with respect to this. Thank you, ma'am. You can say, ma'am.
I think Rujuta, that's pretty well said. And here in the comments, I see seen some inputs. That's good. That somebody writes that indeed oral neutrophils can be used as a biomarker, but they are not specific biomarkers. Almost every inflammatory disease have increased neutrophils. The other point is that developing a kit will add a financial burden, so it can be a good research project but may lack clinical significance. Well, the first part of the comment is quite valid, but then here what they tried here, see, when we talk about developing a kit, it is not only about financial burden. For everything money is needed, for everything finance is needed, so that's not the point. The point is, yes, definitely the specificity and sensitivity, particularly not only with saliva, with any body fluid or with any molecule that you are trying to do, the first challenge that comes is to validate that particular molecule. And whenever we say a assay, like particularly the present discussion that we are doing it based on this paper. Now instead of a single 1-point biomarker, it is always good to have a panel of biomarkers. So that's always there. I mean, that's a very proven fact. So, and when if you tell about cost, if you just hunt out, there are many ways that cost effective things can be done, and that's the thing that we have to do. I mean, we just have to think the way we think. We have to just go out and think, and we can see everything we cannot do as a clinician, we cannot do as a scientist, we cannot do, but if we collaborate we can do. Because if it is whether the cost will again depend what I'm trying to do. Am I trying to develop something very high-end device or which needs a very sophisticated laboratory setup? Am I trying to develop a paper-based device? Am I trying to develop just a quantitative, like, okay, it is yes or no, presence or absence? So all these things, many things depend. So finance, I don't agree financial burden is a thing, because without money you cannot do anything that's there. Even if it is a 5,000 rupees project that for UG is doing, that is also a burden. Okay, so in science we do not talk about financial burden. We just see, the thing is that the best clinician and the best scientists are those people with whatever you have. Can you think of something with whatever you have? So first, that should be the line of thought. So excuses are there. So so anyway, but I think that input was very, very useful, and very nice to see all of your participation, because here in the software I just see the comments. I cannot appreciate all the names here. So anyways, that was very good actually. So and one thing I just want to add, because this, you might also watch this in our YouTube channel, as well as after the program you might watch this as a recording here. So for people who are getting coming inside for the first time, or even who are here, who have been here, let me just tell you something about this, about the ease of finding the post. Because what happens, we every day we keep posting something or the other, some information, some program, something is happening. Now if you want to see a particular program, particularly, for example, I keep doing certain polls, we talk about certain contests, and particularly this journal club which we started. Whenever you open the group, you will see there are certain post topics. You will find some post topics with hashtags, like hashtag ICDG JC, hashtag ICDG contest. So what will happen when we post this? We actually use those hashtags. If you just click on that, particularly suppose for JC you want to revisit this again. So because after 1-2 days this will go down, because we will be posting so many things. So you can just click on that post topic which says hashtag ICDG JC. Then you will directly come through into that, all those posts which has been done with that hashtag. So that will make your life simpler, and you can just see whatever you want to see out of so much of information. Whatever you specifically want to see, you can see that. Also, there are certain things when we post certain interesting studies or scientific information, we use a hashtag called hashtag fascinating science. So just click on that and you will see all the relevant posts. So that is what I wanted to mention. So I think, is there anything that has to be added? And Udita, can you just help us with that? Yeah.
Ma'am, I would just like to bring to notice to the person who has asked this question one more thing, that the overall success of any project lies on one more factor, that is sample collection. And I do not know whether you have read this article in totality or not, but they have not clearly mentioned how these samples were collected. And there are certain advanced tools by which we collect saliva, which are very helpful in establishing the overall success of anything that is coming out of saliva. So if you'll go back to our website, which is genedent.com, so there are various courses. There is a complete course which is called Saliva Technologies that is completely devoted to this. What are the advanced collection technologies? What are the advanced tools by which you can collect saliva pertaining to your own purpose? If you want to extract DNA out of it, we have certain specific tools. If you want it for proteomics, there are certain specific tools. This might one of the factor that, because usually we do it by spitting method, and this is a very robust method of doing it, so the success might vary. And then coming again to the budget program, implants one day were considered to be very expensive. Now they are a usual common thing. CBCT for the same matter, if you talk 10 years behind the lane, nobody thought that this will become a common thing. Now even BDS graduates, they use CBCT for various purposes. So this should not be a roadblock. We should always be hopeful, and it is not so that it is always expensive. And I always hear these comments that this is expensive and this cannot be done. This can be done. There are technologies. So I would just request you, please go and visit this genedent.com, search the course run under the name of Saliva Technologies, and very shortly in the month of January we are coming up with an international saliva symposium, which is completely devoted to saliva and saliva therapeutics, saliva and diagnostics. So if you register for that, your horizons will further broaden up. And once again, thank you for your comment, because with these comments only we can discuss further, and many people might be having similar notions in their mind, and with your help their confusion is also getting cleared. So thank you.
Yeah, I agree 100% with Udita, and thank you. So many inspiring comments. I'm sorry, I don't see the names. I have to see it from my phone, but then I can just read out those comments. Somebody says a great beginning. I must say thank you so much. Then a great start, ma'am. Glad to be part of this initiative. Fantastic. Thank you. And see, these things will run only with your contribution. It doesn't go. The program doesn't go as a sole this thing. Sole endeavor. So, and I think somebody writes that they have sent an article. Can that be used for any upcoming journal clubs, or I have to find another article for next JC? Okay, so I think if your article has not been selected, there might be certain purpose. So you can, if you think that our evaluation was not pretty good, then you can resend that article. We will reread it, and or else if you can bring up some new articles, that is also welcome. So I think with that we can close the call today, and I hope everybody enjoyed it. And whoever will be watching this as a recording, you are also free to add up your comments, and if anything which is very specific, we will try to answer it offline. We will just try to address as much as possible from our side at our best capacity. So, and thank you, Dr. Rujuta, for your time, for staying all the way through this program. Thank you, Udita, for once again for conducting it in a very well organized way. So I think let's take a leave, and thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. We will again keep following, and as I said, follow those hashtags. It will really help you. So that you don't get lost coming inside. You don't get lost what is happening, where is that post, and also just click those hashtags. You will find the specific posts, wherever that hashtags has been used. So it will be very useful. That is the purpose of those post topics. So I think with that we will end, and thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Take care.